Hi, everybody. Welcome to a new All of the Above Marvel budget movie review. And this time we're going to revisit the Marvel archives again. This time we're having some new classics, um, which will be turning into the MCU momentarily or sometime in the future. But now this is the pre-MCU superhero movies that put superhero movies back on the map. It's the X Men with Hugh Jackman, who is immortalized as Wolverine, Patrick Stewart as Professor X, um, and so on and so on. It's a wonderful cast. It's a wonderful superhero movie. It has science fiction influences. It has everything. And I loved this one. And it got me hyped for a new version of Marvel. We all knew the old Marvel movies like The Punisher and the 90s Punisher. We got the Fantastic Four movies somewhere after that because a lot of fantastic things came out in that time. And like I said, this X Men movie got a sequel, X Men number two. We see Hugh Jackman return. We get a little insight into Wolverine's life before he became Wolverine. We got little hints, little glimpses, and it's a good one. Love seeing Nightcrawler in here. Yeah, it had Colossus in there, so it's good. Um, yeah, it's wonderful to see the Fantastic Four make their silver screen debut. We got the animated series, of course, which will return to in the MCU. But first, we have the movies. The Last Stand was the first of the trilogy that hasn't been done by Bryan Singer because he went to do Superman Returns, the emo Superman movie. Bryan Singer did the first two, so he put his stamp on the X Men. And although we see a lot of casts return, we get to see a bit of Dark Phoenix. Yeah, it was a kind of hodgepodge put together with lots of different villains in between their new heroes like Angel, um, and of course Patrick Stewart again. So it was time for a reboot. So a couple of years later, we got X Men First Class, and you could see this as a sort of prequel trilogy. We got a younger version of Magneto. We got a new, younger version of Professor X, of course. We got a younger version of Beast. Everyone gets redone, be younger, and you can say that this is the same universe as the original X Men trilogy. So yeah, it's good. I love this one. It was fresh, and it gave us a new, yeah, 60s look on the X Men, and it was soon followed up by something big, something shattering the realm of the X Men. X Men Days of Future Past, because this was the movie where the old and the new crossed over. So we got the original X Men group and we got the first class X Men group with Hugh Jackman in between playing Wolverine. And well, the Days of the Future Past is known for his comic version, where in the comics it's like a dark future where the X-Men get killed and everything. And they're trying to prevent this in this movie, so we get to see everybody return, and at the end, the timeline is being reset. And for this movie, I have a second version. It's the Rogue Cut, because we didn't see Rogue in the first movie. It's almost the same movie, but with some scenes put in. Um, it's a good one too. Then we went back to the first class group. This one was like the 80s of the 70s, Days of Future Past. This one was the 80s version, and we got a bigger lineup of X-Men. We get to see Professor X without his hair, bald. We get to see Jennifer Lawrence more without makeup. That's something about superhero movies I'm not really that keen on. We see a lot of taking off masks, acting without makeup because they want to be shown as the actor they are and not as the character they play. Like their face is more important than the character they play. But okay, it's the apocalypse. We get to see a lot of X-Men favorites return. We get to see the original roster. We get to see Psylocke. We get to see Angel return, or not return. We see a new version of Angel becoming Archangel. We get to see Quicksilver, another Quicksilver than we saw in the Avengers. And they were almost released around the same time. But this actor who played Quicksilver in this movie returned for the WandaVision TV show. So it's weird. But I like this one. It wasn't that super, but I liked it. Then came the Dark Phoenix movie. And it was about to end the first class version of the X-Men. It was the last movie, and it did end that version of the X-Men. So it was a good movie, but it wasn't special. It wasn't the level Days of Future Past was, or the first X-Men movie was. It was just a cool X-Men movie. Yeah. And in between, Wolverine got his solo movies. The first one was X-Men Origins, Wolverine, who for most of the people were let down. I didn't like Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool in this one, although he would make it up. We got a totally new, different Sabretooth in here. We did get Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Of course, they couldn't do it without him. And we got a Gambit even in here. So I liked this movie because it told a bit about the story for Wolverine. But well, the Deadpool thing would be revisited and would be done better. Then we got the Wolverine movie, and it was a real kick-ass action movie with Hugh Jackman again reprising his role as Wolverine. And this one tied in to Days of Future Past at the end. So we got an end credit scene that tied into Days of the Future Past. It was awesome. We also see Wolverine without his healing factor. We see him in Japan because this plays in Japan. And it's just an awesome, good movie. It has martial arts, it has action, and it has Wolverine, of course. So what else do you want? Then Hugh Jackman said, well, I'll never play Wolverine again after this movie, blah, blah, blah. And that movie was Logan. Logan was, an old man Logan. We got the comic in that before that time called Old Man Logan. And well, this man is an older Logan. He's some years after. It's 2029 in this one. We also get to see this biological, it's sort of his daughter, but it's clone, X23. It's a good movie. It has Patrick Stewart in here again, and it ties off the Wolverine story perfectly. So I liked it. Um, then, like I said, in the first Wolverine solo movie, there was a Deadpool, played by Ryan Reynolds, and I didn't really like it. Then I heard Ryan Reynolds would return as Deadpool, and I thought, well, he wouldn't be as crappy as in that movie, would he? And he returned as Deadpool, and Deadpool really kicked ass in this movie. He really made Deadpool his own with the humor, with everything. It was a comical comic book movie with action, and it's just wonderful. I loved it. It got a sequel, of course, Deadpool 2. We see Cable, and the actor playing Cable would return as Thanos, so that would be awesome. Um, well, there is a third Deadpool movie in the works, and it would finish off the Sonyverse, like they said. Hugh Jackman would return, so and they wouldn't touch the Logan movie. So I'm curious how they're going to do that. So they're going to bring Deadpool into the MCU for a third movie. I'm waiting to see how they do it. So, and about the time the Sonyverse was about to die, and the MCU took everything in, the new Spider-Man movies came. There was one more project that still had to be done, and the New Mutants movie. It's a movie that has been pushed forward many of times. It was already finished. Um, and the New Mutants are, of course, some people from the X-Verse. Like I said, what I just went through is the X-Verse, the X universe. I love this movie. It was kind of scary. We get to see the original cast, the original group of New Mutants, like we see them in the comics. And it's a nice bookend to the X universe, Sony universe. So I'm curious to see if we'll see a return for the New Mutants. We'll definitely see a return for Deadpool and Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. So I'm wondering, what do you think about that? Leave a comment down below. And if you want to like, you can like. And if you want to subscribe, you can subscribe. And that just leaves me to say thank you for watching and see you next time.